So I never thought I'd be making one of these videos as a YouTuber, but I thought I'd give you an update on my life, what my future plans are. From the title of the video, I'm moving out of Colombia. I've been here for almost 5 years, living here full-time, nonstop. And I wanted to give some reasons why I'm moving, like a perspective from someone that's been living here long-term versus someone that just, visits here for a week or even stays here for 6 months. There's a lot of things that you start to see and, little small things that start to wear on you after you've been living here for, more than 2 years, I would say, is when the honeymoon period starts to end. And FYI, every country has downsides. No country is perfect. In this video, I just wanted to give some reasons why I decided to move and also update you on what I'm looking to do in the future travel plans and business plans. I want to preface this video stating that I'm very thankful for my time here in Colombia and for the business opportunities that have presented itself. The last 5 years, I've been able to grow my Airbnb business to a considerable size, and I've done a very good job at automating it, so that's what's allowing me to leave. Now I'm not selling any property or letting go of any properties that I have. Over the last 2 years, I've been able to automate that and get it working very well to where I only have to report in about 4 to 5 hours per week of actual work, and it's all done virtually. We're also still trying to expand the property management side of the business and also the tour side of the business. So me leaving definitely doesn't mean that I have no faith in the country. I'm still looking to possibly, if we find the right property, invest more in this country and also again expand the tour side of the business and also the property management side of the business. And I still think Medellin is an amazing city, especially if you're in your 20s and either you work online or you're looking to start a business. Maybe you don't have income coming in, but you have some savings. I think it's one of the top, if not the #1 city in the world to do something like that. Very, very low cost of living for what you're actually getting, the quality. I was looking recently in the US what it would cost for me to buy a house, and cost of living has it's always been high, but it's gone up a lot in the last 2 years. Just to buy a normal house, it's $400,000 to $500,000 plus, and your mortgage payments with that size of property is $3,000 to $4,000 plus. In Colombia, Medellin, it's very easy to find on Airbnb fully furnished place, something for anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. It's going to get you a really nice apartment in a really good area. You can of course find cheaper and find something unfurnished like I did here. We paid $700, but you're gonna have to furnish it yourself. And also the reason why I'm sitting in this chair in the middle of the living room is we've already sold almost all of the furniture. So yeah, we're leaving in 3 days and yeah, we've sold almost everything. If you're in your 20s and looking for just maybe a different lifestyle and also more affordable cost of living, Medellin again is probably the best place in the world to do that. If you're wanting to start a business, maybe you don't have cash flow yet, but you have savings built up. Again, Medellin is great. That's what I did 5 years ago. I really didn't have a business set up when I first came. I just had a bunch of savings saved up. I was just going to figure it out. I didn't know what I was going to do. And luckily I did figure it out. I stumbled into Airbnb. That's how I've been able to stay here. And, I built my business over the past 5 years. And beyond getting that business up and running, living here has allowed me to save a lot of capital over the years. I think per month average, I spend about $1,500 per month. I'm very thankful for that. If I was living in the US, I wouldn't have been able to build up cash quite as quickly as I had been able to living here. That brings me to reason #1 why I'm moving. It's kind of a pull factor. I'll get into the push factors later on in this video. And that's that I'm wanting to invest, large sums of money. And I don't really feel comfortable with doing that here in Colombia. I'm okay with doing the arbitrage thing, tour thing, is kind of small amounts of capital, but I'm really wanting to take the next big step in my life. And, I don't feel that comfortable with investing really large sums of money here at this time. We'll see in the future. I might want to come back and do a hotel project or something like that. But yeah, at this time, politically, everything going on, there's always risk in every country, but Colombia, there is a lot more risk. And yeah, for me, I felt like to take, really the next big step in life, I needed to get outside of Colombia. And, now we're looking at investing in about 50 acres in the US in a top secret location. I can't give out the location. That whole project I want to keep secret for the time being. Very close to closing on that piece of land. I've been working on it for the last 2 months, and hopefully we're almost there. And yeah, the US for me is somewhere that I can invest large sums of money and feel a little bit more comfortable and be able to sleep a little bit better at night. And that's not to say that there's not opportunities here in Colombia. There's many, many opportunities. Tourism is booming. I had a call with my Airbnb rep a couple weeks ago, and he stated that tourism in Colombia has gone up like 93% in just 1 year. And since 2019, before the pandemic, Airbnb bookings have gone up like 900% in the last 3 years. So tourism is booming, so there's a lot of opportunity in that sector. And that's again why I'm pushing to expand our tours and concierge side of the business and also property management side of the business. But as I enter my 30s, I'm gonna be 30 in a couple weeks, I wanna be surrounded by bigger fish, bigger thinkers, and that's something that's very hard to find here. In Latin America, Medellin is the spot. Like, that's where most of the entrepreneurs are. So you can find, big entrepreneurs doing big things here. To be honest, that's about it. It's really hard, from what I found, to integrate with the locals, and it's very difficult to find locals that are, doing big things here. Whenever I get into a conversation with an American, a gringo, just being like, oh, I miss finally being able to speak with someone and have an intelligent conversation with someone. So that's what I'm seeking as I get older. Also, a lot of the foreigners here, there's a lot here that are here for drugs and sex and things like that. Again, not saying that that's all of them. There's a lot of really bright entrepreneurs here, but there's also a lot of that kind of tourism that goes on as well. Ideally, my goal is to work my way up to doing multi-million-dollar real estate deals as I get more experience. And yeah, again, that's just something that I don't really see myself doing in Colombia. It's a lot more difficult to get leverage here. And if you do, interest rates are very, very high. So that's something that's great about the US is, capital markets are very efficient, liquid. It's very easy to get loans, take on debt. Yeah, that's kind of my tentative plan, is to build a real estate portfolio in the US. And so now finally getting to some of the push factors, some things that are pushing me from Colombia. Before I get into this, these things are just my opinion. It seems like everyone is so sensitive these days. If you don't like it, just turn off the video and you don't have to watch this video. It's just my experience, some things that I have noticed over the years. So if you can't handle a little bit of criticism and negativity, it's just better that you unsubscribe from the channel. So getting into some of the kind of broad city reasons. So number one is noise. Seems like if you live in Medellin, it's almost impossible to escape the noise. The buildings there are constructed very thin, basically no insulation between the walls and windows, and you can hear everything. If you're on a street with any kind of traffic, you're gonna hear it. That's why we decided to move out here an hour outside of Medellin to finally try to get some peace and quiet, because it's almost impossible in Medellin. Reason number two is pollution. Medellin is always ranked as one of the worst cities in Latin America with the worst pollution. And it's really a problem if you live there. I can only imagine if you live there long term what that does to your lungs. But yeah, you really notice it, going down as you go down into the valley, especially if you go during the day. You see just a thick layer of smog laying over the entire city. And yeah, I don't see that changing. They're not really doing anything to change it. It's hard for them to change it because it's built in a valley, so the air just kind of sits in there, and I can only imagine how unhealthy that is long term. Reason number three is traffic. If you drive here, most foreigners don't drive, and you should probably aim to keep it that way. Just take Ubers, because trying to drive here is so annoying. If I drive 1 hour here, I'm tired. I just want to lay down. You always have to be so active, you're just looking for other drivers that are going to run into you, basically. You can be a great driver, but it seems like everyone else, you always have to watch out for people running into you. If you have a moto, that's incredibly dangerous. I've gotten 2 accidents, not my fault. Again, just people not paying attention. They're insanely aggressive and unthoughtful drivers. If you do come here, just try to take Ubers. If you can afford it, hire a driver, a full-time driver, if you're going to be doing a lot of transport. It's very cheap. I have some friends that do that, and yeah, that's a great option. Reason number four, I already touched on this I feel like I've grown out of the city a little bit. As I mentioned before, it's kind of hard to find locals that are, doing big things. It is a good spot, in Latin America to network with other online entrepreneurs. But beyond that, it's, very difficult to network and kind of build a community of, very intelligent people. And yeah, as I get older, I feel like I've kind of grown out of the city. It can be very hard to find serious people. And this is coming from experience of me. I have a physical business. If you don't have a business here, or like have an online business or work remote, you're really not gonna, encounter these kinds of things. So I guess I can see that's why, like, sometimes there's some backlash when I say some of these things, because really, you don't experience it. A lot of foreigners stay in their bubble with gringos. Even if you do interact with foreigners, again, most of these people have business online, and they never go beyond just like a service level interaction. So that's why I say these things and why I have a somewhat negative perspective of Paisas. Most other foreigners that have been here for a considerable amount of time will say the same thing. Also, Colombians that are not Paisa will also say the same thing about Paisas. The last reason is violence and how kind of like normalized it is in the culture. Yeah, I've gotten death threats. From my understanding, that's common. Colombians, I guess, love to do that. It's, again, I guess, in their culture, violence, and they're not afraid to, I guess, threaten you. Luckily, that's, from what I've heard, it's most of them are just threats. They're just talking. But you never know. There's always that like 0.1% chance that someone is actually serious. And the thing is, here it's really easy for someone to kill someone. Like, sicarios are still like a really common thing, and it's so easy for someone to pay a sicario like $200 is what I heard that they charge, and they get on their moto. It's someone from a barrio, and it's very easy to track you down and shoot you. So yeah, those things you really won't notice if you're living in your little bubble like most gringos do. But if you've been here for a longer amount of time and kind of integrate yourself more with society and maybe open a business, you will start to notice that. My girlfriend has heard of and told me many stories of this actually happening, so I'm not just like making this up. This does happen here, especially in Medellin. And so last reason that I just thought of is that a lot of people here, locals, have a very socialist, communist mentality. I mean, they just elected an ex-guerrilla, like essentially communist. So long term, I just don't see myself living here, and God forbid I have kids here, that I don't want to have kids here. So in the last year, as I got older, I just started to look at other options, like what other places are more well suited for raising a family, have more family values, and say what you want about the U.S. and the family values of Latin culture versus U.S. In my mind, still the U.S. is by far number one in raising a family. It's not something that I want to start immediately, but in the future, next few years as I get older, just something that I started to think about. So that is it for this video, and some of the reasons why I decided to move out of Colombia. Again, there's many positive things about Medellin, especially outside of Medellin. I really don't like many cities outside of Medellin, especially on the coast. I don't like Santa Marta, but maybe to visit. But to live, I think Medellin is a perfect city. The weather is perfect. It never gets too hot, never gets too cold. Every day is pretty much the same weather. So yeah, I mean, if you're a digital nomad in your 20s or looking to start a business, again, I think Medellin's the number one city, the best city in the world to do that. The nature and the way that they're able to integrate that into the city is unlike anything that I've ever seen in the world. You never know, I might miss it and decide to come back in the future, or a business opportunity might come up and I might decide to come back for some time. I definitely enjoyed my time here, and I'll still be uploading on the channel. Me and my girlfriend are going to be living a more nomadic life in the next 3 to 6 months. I still want to be uploading content about Airbnb and future real estate projects. So this ended up being a longer than expected video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.